It's hard to give everything to you. You say what you say and still do what you do.
I'm Bethany's pediatrician, and I'm Suzanne Reinders. I've been a pediatrician since I graduated in 1967 in London, England, and I'm also a fellow of the Academy of Pediatrics here in the United States. Since I've been doing this for over 30 years, I've seen a few patients that have been undiagnosed. None exactly the same as Bethany.
I'm Dr. Deborah Balke. I'm a pediatric neurologist here in Templeton, California, and I've been in practice for about 12 years now. I would say approximately 50% of what we see does not have a diagnosis, so this is actually relatively common.
My name is Eileen Costello, and I am the special day class teacher at Robert Bruce School, and I work for Santa Barbara County School. I think the biggest thing they've taught me is how to challenge myself in helping them learn. They show me such a capacity to love and such a capacity to try. My special ed students never give up, and that's not something you don't see with other people. And so they really push you to try to do as much as you can for them because you just want to help them learn as much as they can learn. Last year, we were really concerned that she might have some problems with aspiration. So what we used to have to do with her is we have to puree all her food, and we'd have to add thicket to her drink, and so she was never able to drink at all. We had to spoon everything she drank. And this summer, Esther was able to have some tests done that shows that she doesn't aspirate. So that changed completely the way we had her eat, because now we're able to have her start working on being able to chew and being able to swallow. We take her food and we cut it into small little pieces, and then we add milk to it, so it's a little bit mushy. And what that allows her to do now is to be able to use a spoon and being able to use the food, eat the food like the rest of us do, and then work on chewing. What toy you like? Here, let's try this toy. You want to try this toy here? Oh yes, I know we love that toy.
It was a real surprise to find out that Bethany had a disability, and sometimes I don't notice the fact that she's disabled unless I see other children her age that are doing certain things, and then I realize that, wow, my child's profoundly disabled. It's hard sometimes. Sometimes I have trouble not dealing with it, but it's the things that you need to do to take care of Bethany require a lot of work, because basically she's 6 years old, but it's like she's a 1-year-old baby.
My name is Dana, and I'm Bethany's big sister. Bethany being undiagnosed is hard because we don't know how to help her. And as like a big sister, I guess it's a lot of pressure. Even though I don't do a lot, it's still a lot of pressure for me. I think it has since Bethany has been born. My view of disabled people or mentally challenged kids or adults, I look at them more as people other than just being, I don't know, mentally challenged. Just like they're aware of a lot of things, and they're fun to be around with, even though they may not understand as much. So yeah, it has changed.
I think one strong feeling I had initially was disbelief. I didn't expect her to be disabled. Up until that point, we thought that she was normal, going to be a normal child. But as time went by, you just learn to accept it. I mean, she's my child. She's our child. Whether she's has a disability or not, we accept her the way she is. Currently, Bethany is a very important part of our life. She's a very special girl, and she's made a lot of progress up until this point, and we expect her to make more progress.
My name's Seth. I'm 8 years old and I'm Bethany's big brother. Even though Bethany's disabled, it doesn't mean like I don't think she's cool. I still think she's like cool. Beth is funny when she laughs.
My name is Julie Jones, and I'm a board-certified clinical molecular geneticist, and I'm the director of the Molecular Diagnostic Laboratory at the Greenwood Genetics Center in Greenwood, South Carolina. Bethany's case is not isolated in that we see thousands and thousands of cases each year that are going undiagnosed. Our lab in particular, we receive about 7,000 samples a year for testing, and of those, a large percentage are undiagnosed cases.
You know, we see so many of these kids that have unique features that you're very suspicious of metabolic disorder or a genetic syndrome is present, but unless you can get that child to somebody who has seen another child with the same features, we often don't have a diagnosis.
The tests that we have done on Bethany include a variety of gene sequencing analyses. These genes are involved in diseases and syndromes that are have overlapping features that are consistent with Angelman and Rett syndrome. We've looked at the TCF4 gene, which is associated with Pitt-Hopkins syndrome. We've looked at ATRX gene. We have performed microarray analysis to look for duplications and deletions of genomic segments. We haven't specifically ruled out any diagnosis or condition at this point. We have looked at the coding regions of the genes that I've mentioned before. We have only looked at the coding regions of these genes. We have not sequenced or analyzed the regulatory regions which would control gene expression. So it's possible that even though, say, we've looked at the MECP2 gene and did not find any mutations within the coding region of the gene, that doesn't mean that there could be mutations upstream or downstream of the gene that could prevent protein expression. And so I hesitate to say that we've ruled out Rett syndrome or we've ruled out Angelman syndrome just simply because we haven't found a mutation in those particular genes.
Bethany has some characteristics that are similar to the Angelman syndrome, including her developmental delay and the speech delay, microcephaly, and also the happy demeanor. It's very characteristic. And although she doesn't actually have that syndrome, what happens in those patients is that they actually do better than would be expected. Their development improves and their ability to communicate is gradually learned in either sign or speaking. It's never perfect, of course, but they do develop. It's not a static illness. They do improve over time, and that's what I expect of Bethany.
The benefit of getting a diagnosis is to be able to predict your future. And if you knew that Bethany, if you knew of 100 other kids like her and what they were doing in life and what their quality of life was like and issues that came up for them, you could better plan for her future. What every parent wants for their kids, disabled or not, is meaningful participation in the community, the ability to enjoy life, and just those quality of life features that everyone looks for. So a diagnosis will give you a better sense of what her life will look like and how to get that quality of life for her. But diagnosis or not, I think you're totally headed in the right direction.
You rescue me.